Shit has certainly been hitting the fan, but that's nothing new when it comes to racial injustices in America. Many of us have found ourselves in emotional turmoil. Many more of us urgently want to help, but simply put, we just don't know what to do. We don't know where to start. Hi, I'm Carly Myers, your friendly stress management expert. Now, some of us are afraid we are going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. We feel like we're walking on eggshells, and quite frankly, it can be really anxiety provoking. Today, I've brought on a friend and colleague of mine, Shalena D.I.V.A, to talk about this very issue. I hope it hits your soul, opens your heart, and from it, we can create more love in our communities. Welcome to the show, Shalena.
Thank you so much, Carly. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Shalena D.I.V.A helps her clients to discover, invest, value, and appreciate their lives and business. She educates, equips, and helps her clients to start a profitable, I'm just going to say that a few more times, virtual coaching business by packaging their knowledge into digital information products. Through her company, Bestselling Year LLC, she helps new coaches, consultants, and experts with personal branding, content marketing, and digital product creation, such as webinars, ebooks, and online courses. AKA, she has been busy since we've entered quarantine. I can tell you that. So I wanted to bring Shalena on the show for you guys because, quite frankly, um, Shalena has been, I don't know if it's brave enough or uh, loud enough or stands up enough. I don't know, but she shared an incredible video on social media a few days ago. And it said, "White coaches, listen to this." And I was like, oh shit, that's me. What's she going to say? What does she have to say? Now, Shalena and I actually met during quarantine. We met at a virtual networking event and we immediately hit it off. We were just like, you've got great energy. I got to talk. But this video that she shared a few days ago just struck me. It resonated. I had seen a lot of it happening in the white coaching community. And I was like, I need to have you on the show. We need to hear what you have to say. So I'm so excited to just welcome you to the show again, Shalena, and hear what you have to share.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Okay, so I introed the show with, a lot of us are feeling a lot of emotions. Right before we hit record on this episode, we talked about how last week legit was traumatic. We're recording this about a week or two out. So a few weeks ago for you guys listening now was pretty traumatic. And a lot of us really are feeling the urgency to take action. And I want to start by, you know, acknowledging that a lot of us don't know where to start and we're nervous and we're scared. And so, Shalena, I would love to hear your thoughts on like, okay, I'm here, I'm nervous, I want to help, I don't know how. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, great. I'll just hit it and quit it because I want to maximize the time. I'm going to tell you what not to say and what not to do. Okay. Do not say all lives matter. Of course, we know that all lives matter. However, in this moment in time, it's Black lives that we're talking about. So if they create a post or they're talking about Black Lives Matter, please don't say, well, all lives matter or blue lives matter, because then you will get attacked and people will say that you're tone deaf and they may even call you racist. So just don't say it. And the thing is, we know that all lives matter. It's like someone said, a great metaphor is that, if there's a block and there's one house that's on fire and like we really need to put this fire out, you go to that house and you put the fire out. You don't say, well, wait a minute, I'm going to go and spray that house over there. And it's like, but it's not on fire. It's this one. So that's kind of what it's equivalent to. So in this instance, don't say all lives matter, because that's like, to us, is like, okay, either they're racist or they're tone deaf. The other thing that it's like a really big thing there. The other thing is this. No one likes, no one likes the looting, no one likes the property damage. But if the only time you have spoken out during this time is to voice your opinion on the property damage, you're going to get attacked, because people are saying, but do you understand why, the protest started? And of course there are agitators, but do you understand why? If you've never spoken out on what happened to George Floyd, or if you don't see just how he was degraded as a human being, and the only time you're speaking out is against property damage, do not do that. because then it's seen as you're being insensitive and once again tone deaf. So no one likes the looting, no one likes that. But the funny thing is it's gotten your attention enough to make you speak up. So it does serve a purpose, but really try to find, okay, why are they looting? And like, have you said anything about George Floyd? And also too, if you're the kind of person who said, well, what did he do? Listen, it was over $20. Come to find out the $20 wasn't fake, but was it worth him losing his life over $20? So you have to see the humanity in the situation and how he was robbed of his humanity. So if you skip over that and you just jump to the property damage, you're going to get attacked and you
Yeah.
probably won't like it.
Yeah. And what's coming up for me is just thinking about, I read, so I read the exact words that George Floyd was saying to the officers during that moment. And there was nothing but just like basically pleading, like, please, sir, I can't breathe. I'm claustrophobic. Please, I can't breathe. Like, there was no disrespect. There was nothing. It was just clear communication about what needed to happen in order for him to survive. And I think that like, if we go back, this is probably there's so many social media arguments about this because of the looting and everything, but like, we compare a human life that suffered, like that's legit suffering, that's torture in my opinion, to
Mm-hmm.
looting. Like, I'm going to choose somebody who was tortured and murdered and focus my attention on that versus looting, because quite frankly, that person, like, that's not okay. Like, we cannot,
Mm-hmm.
they cannot be paired on two levels. And I want to just share with you, Shalena, too, that, and I guess everybody that's listening, that it's really, it's really, it's just, I can't even find the words for it, but I think that, so I can't even find my words for it, so I'm
Well,
gonna skip over it. But
I
yeah, go
wanted
ahead.
to say this. What we witnessed was a public lynching.
Mhm. Yeah.
They just didn't have the rope, they just didn't have the tree, but it was a public lynching. And my sister challenged me this weekend. She said, kneel down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and you can't hold on to anything. And I had my stopwatch, and I have the luxury of looking like how much longer. But I want your listeners to do that. Kneel down without any props for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That is how long that officer's knee was on his neck. And, I wish we had a longer time, but we don't. But my thing is, I want to bring something to your attention, but I also want to give you tips and tools to help
Mhm.
you. So if you're really interested in, okay, what can I do? My first thing is you have to get formally educated. That means go to a workshop that is taught by a reputable Black person, African American person who has knowledge about this and who can help you to understand the Black experience. So you don't want to go to a workshop that's done by a white person, because how can they really teach you, right? But the thing is, in that workshop, you're going to be confronted with your biases, because the thing about a bias is you don't see it. It is so ingrained. And in that video Carly was talking about, I talked about how I went to a LGBTQ plus workshop to better understand, and I had to confront my biases. I had to confront my privilege. So you want to get formally educated. You want to have a reputable source. And the second thing is, whatever you learn in that workshop, put it into practice immediately. And I told a story about how I met a transgender man. So it was a woman, originally born a woman. And I learned, the proper pronouns to use, how to ask. And then we had the best conversation ever, but I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not gotten the tools from that formal workshop. So educate yourself, go to a formal workshop. I'm sure there are going to be a lot coming up. Understand that you will confront your own biases. You will confront your privilege. And it's not an assault on who you are. It's just helping you to understand and then put whatever you learned directly into practice. And you'll be so glad you did.
That's perfect. So there are a lot of resources out there. Thank you, Shalena, so much for coming on. I wish we had an hour and not 10 minutes. That is for sure. But this is absolutely something we can put into practice today. So I want to make this an open dialogue. So I want to hear from you guys who are listening. What questions do you have? Where do you feel stuck? We are really here to help navigate this conversation, move this forward as much as we can. Now, This concludes this episode of the Stress Less Show. If you liked this week's episode, please let us know by giving us a big old thumbs up and hitting that follow or subscribe button. And if this resonated for you, please share this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.